What's good, boys? Welcome to the trade recap of the day. We're about to run through this setup that I thought was really great that never ended up really playing out. It just kind of sat around and told us probably shouldn't trade this while it was in play. So without further ado, just hop into some really great top-down analysis. All right, so we'll start off by zooming out and just doing some top-down, right? So understand that yesterday we ended up pumping up and taking out all-time highs over here on ES. And if we look, there's kind of been a bit of a trend where NQ is much weaker than ES, right? When we take out this high, we're much below the range. And the same thing is holding true, right? So after doing that, we end up putting this bigger time frame bearish SMT in. However, I'm not really looking at this the most to build my bias because I'm understanding that this bearish SMT has been in play since price has been right about here. It's been in play since here. So the SMT has been everywhere, and because of that, I'm expecting it to now be six sister, right? But when the market opens, I'm really just understanding the weakness and strength difference, and I'm looking at what can potentially give me a confluence to trade either side, right? So zooming lower, right, we had some kind of CPI, PPI, something like that today, and we ended up putting in that 1 minute candle. So that 1 minute huge news candle range, and you guys by now should know what I do for these news candles, right? I mark out the top and the bottom of the range. So I do this right here, and I wait for one side to get swept, and then I look to trade some kind of reversal. So what I end up seeing is the low gets swept right on market open, right? This is going to be very simple, very easy trade recap. Low gets swept right on market open, right? And as well, that is now going to be probably the best scenario because it's in line with the higher time frame, right? If we zoom out to some kind of hourly, we're going to end up seeing fair value gaps right below this low. So now this is a magnet for price below us too. We have fair value gaps here, another reason to bounce. We have order block right there, and then we have a low all the way down here. So within that leg, that's going to be the area in which we want to bounce as well. If we look, that's within equilibrium of the range, OTE. So that's why I'm expecting to see price bounce there, right? So if I can see some kind of manipulation at that level, whether that just be like a what's it called, a correlated stop rate, or it can be some kind of SMT, I'm going to be looking to trade that. So immediately we end up seeing that SMT get put in on the very first couple candles of the market, right? So right here, SMT now gets put in at this level right here. Where was it actually? No, it was this level right here. So I'll just mark it about right here, and then from there we end up seeing internal SMT play out. So internal SMT. Now I'm just waiting to see change in the state on this index because I believe this one's showing me the true price, right? So this is within this fair value gap. It's a little bit higher in the range, and it's not looking the best to go ahead and trade, right? 100% right here, you had change in the state. So if you went ahead and traded this, I mean, that was fine in my opinion. That was within actually just a tiny bit before macro, right? This maybe could have been a entry that you take, and it works perfectly fine on ES, but I didn't end up taking this because I understand that if I'm leaving runners to this drop from here, I expect to see this move is normally going to be a correlated move where we take one side and push the other. It's going to be a very nice big displacement move, very recognizable, right? So I'm expecting then to see at 942 or 943, when we make that displacement candle, I'm expecting to see some kind of displacement, maybe some kind of change in the state close to happening on or on NQ over here on the right. So when I see a complete nothing but rebounds into order block, equilibrium of this leg, and just continuation of bearish order flow, I'm then expecting price to just continue pushing lower instead of continue pushing higher and starting that run, right? So that's why I didn't end up taking this setup. So all I'm waiting for now is we have SMT and we have another SMT put in right here. So we have double SMT, internal and external SMT. I'm just waiting to see a change in the state. That's simply, right? That's all I want to see, and I want to see a change in the state, and I want to take it to the top of this model right here. So it would be right about here is our other side's news draw liquidity, right? So I'm waiting for my change in the state. Ends up happening on this point right here. So it would be right about, I mean, wherever you can mark it on this level if you want, but I decided to mark it right here. This would now become change in the state. I'm expecting to now see the market displace through that, which I waited till I saw this candle right here get placed in. Then I go ahead and I place my order right here, stop at the low, all the way low, pretty big stop loss, I'm not gonna lie, and then a trade up to this for a roughly 2R, right? It wasn't the best R. I definitely would have liked to place my stop like here if I could, but there was no SMT, so I'm just gonna follow my trading plan, and because it gives me good results, so I'm just gonna follow it, right? So this becomes my trade. I'm waiting to see the market start to pull back, and the market doesn't pull back for about an hour, bro. Like this was, yeah, dude, an hour of waiting until the market pulls back. And I took my trade off somewhere around here within 30-40 minutes of waiting, because when the market starts to place in this chop, sure, the model is still technically valid because we could still push lower, manipulate, and then that becomes AMD model to push higher. However, I'm expecting that to happen within macro time, which it does, but that push higher is very short-lived because, check this out, that push higher was that push lower, right? It was created because of an SMT right here. Within this fair value gap, we then get an SMT placed in, so something like this, right? And the SMT goes against our draw and doesn't really do quite anything at first. However, it eventually starts to catch up to us, and it eventually pushes price lower. So after this inefficiency, I'm not expecting this setup to play out. I just take it off, and I don't end up getting tapped at all, taking no trades for the day. I'm 100% fine taking that because I was able to react to what the market was doing, right? It wasn't anything like, I mean, I thought it was going to go and like the model was still valid. Like, no, it was usually I know just from sample size that if this trade is going to play out, it's going to look something like this, right? Where we come back, tap that level fast, and then we start to go. Then we start to go fast. Then maybe we come back to -2 standard deviation, whatever it ends up being, we should go, right? And I know that that's usually how those trades end up playing out. So when it doesn't happen like that, I'm very skeptical of leaving the trade on, because when I see that inefficiency, it's like, this is not like what most of my winning trades of this setup look like. So I'm not going to be willing to leave it on, right? That's kind of how my brain thought, and it ended up saving me from taking this loss today. So overall, I think this was a super interesting day to analyze price, right? And just look at the power of this news range, right? Of course, we have to align with the higher time frame, right? And that's why we're looking to go ahead and take this kind of fair value gap right here, then see some kind of push higher. But as well, we have to watch what is the market doing, right? So we can always see news on liquidity. We can always see that reversal if we go ahead and take some kind of high, right? So, I mean, if you took a short setup right around here, I think this was actually pretty clean too, I'm not gonna lie. Something like this. I just didn't like the efficiency in price, and we were a little after 950 macro, so I wasn't really looking to go ahead and take that. But I mean, that was pretty efficient. I mean, it kind of edge take profit here, but yeah, eventually that plays. I think that was probably the trade of the day, or this one was. I think this was the most quality setup, but it just didn't end up playing out, and it was really inefficient. So, I mean, if you took the trade, left it on, definitely go ahead and journal it, and then you got stopped out. Definitely go ahead and journal why you decided to leave the trade on. If it was from some place of want for money, pride, ego, whatever it ends up being, just go ahead and journal the reasons for why and what you saw in price action during the day. And like, look at my understanding, right? When I saw that consolidation, I'm saying this does not look like most of my winning trades. I don't want to leave the trade on because it's probably not going to be one of those winning trades, right? So it was just simply looking back and figuring out like why I should leave the trade on or why I should take it off. It was that simple. Really simple analysis today. Really great setups. Overall, interested to see how stuff went, right? I don't think there's really anything else you could have taken throughout the day. But overall, I mean, yeah, that's the setup for today. No trade, no W's, no L's, nothing yet. I'm just still chilling throughout the week. I mean, price action's been kind of buns. We had that really nice setup on Tuesday that I wasn't able to take. So, I mean, price action's okay so far this week. So, I mean, without further ado, I'm gonna let you boys go. I hope you guys can learn something from the video and actually grow yourselves as traders in a realistic, efficient way instead of just learning all that ICT nonsense, right? And just like going to almost like ICT college, never applying this stuff, right? Like, I'm teaching you guys the truth of how to look at the market and what actually works, what matters, and everything that I don't talk about, you can most likely just forget, right? It's really not that deep. So overall, thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys learned something, and I'm gonna let you boys go. So peace out.